Hey everybody, welcome back to my art channel. So it's been a couple of weeks, but it's been a very crazy couple of weeks, so I do apologize for the delay. But jumping into this week's video, this is the conclusion to the clock that I started last week. So that's where we left off, and this is where the next part begins. So here I'm showing you what I was doing, or what I end up doing. So I end up encasing all of my clocks in resin just to give it a bit more stability and a bit of shine as well. So what I'm showing you in this part of my video is what I do to do that. There's a lot of different ways in order to put resin on a piece, but this is how I do it. I end up using pieces of cardboard, and I use packing tape as it's a form of plastic, and I put strips of tape across the areas of the cardboard that the resin will hit so that it's a little easier to detach from the piece once it's cured, as resin doesn't adhere to plastic all that well. And then I use that cardboard and I create a perimeter around whatever it is I'm putting resin on, just to keep it nice and neat. And then I tape the bottom and I make sure that everything is really well prepped and ready to go. The more prep work I put into it, the less I have to do in the future. So from there, I go and I prep my resin. So I didn't show me mixing resin because, well, that can be a little boring. But basically I mix my resin, which is a 1-to-1 ratio, and then I put it on top of the object, in this case the clock. So I tend to pour it along the perimeter around the edges first, just to make sure that that's nice and neat and I get it to where I need it to be. And then I'll pour the remainder of the resin that I have pre-mixed into the center, and I will smooth everything out using a silicone tool of some kind. In this case, I'm using a silicone spatula, which works relatively well. And then after about a day or two, after it's been set and cured, I then take apart the casing. So I'll pull apart all of the cardboard and the tape, and I'll pull it all off. And this is kind of where it's at right now. And then from there, or here you can see how I've pulled it all off, and it's got a really nice shiny gloss coat to the top of it, and that's what I like to see when doing my clocks or any resin projects. The back is pretty simple right now. I will eventually paint that black, but for now this is where it's at. And then from there I will sand the top of it, make sure it's nice and smooth. I'll sand all the edges, make sure everything is nice and level and even, and any spills that occurred. And then from there I will drill the hole, which kind of goes with the sanding. I drill the hole for the clock mechanism and make sure that it's where it needs to be. I sand down any rough edges and then go from there. So what you don't see is that I ended up adding another layer of resin after I did the sanding, just so it was nice and smooth and sandy, or shiny rather. And then here I go and I finish it off. So I paint in the numbers, and I like adding borders to things, so I've added a nice border to go around the perimeter of the clock, and I'm painting all of that on top of the resin. And then in the end I'll end up adding a really nice gloss coat to the top of it, just to protect the acrylic paint on top of the resin. And then I'll add the clock mechanism piece and finish assembling it. So I'll end up going from where it's at right now to this, basically a finished product. This is what it looks like in the end, with the design, the border, the mechanism, the gloss. Everything is good to go. And then this last little clip of the video is just showing a small video zoomed in a little bit more so you can see all the different details and parts to it. And then yeah, so Again, the only part that I didn't really show was just maybe some of the finer details of adding the second layer of resin, painting up the back of the clock, which is solid black, and then I've also started adding small pieces of small pieces of velvet or felt to the back in the corners, just so that when it's hung on the wall, there's no risk to it scratching any surfaces or anything like that. So I don't have to worry about anything ever happening like that. So that is the conclusion of my wall clock. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed it, and I look forward to coming up with a new video for you next week. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and I will check in on you guys again soon. Bye. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you all really rather enjoyed it, and if you did, I highly encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, and to come back next week for a new one as I upload new videos weekly. If you would like to see more of my artwork, you will find them on my website, which I have listed down below, and I will link that and all of my social media connections in the description below. Again, I thank you all so much for checking in and seeing what I've been up to and supporting this channel up into this point, and I will see you all again in the next video. Bye.